morning. We're going to talk a little bit geometry this morning. This might be a two-part video because it might get a little bit long and there are some different parts to what I'm going to talk about. So first of all, let's talk about polygons. So you talked about polygons in probably third grade and fourth grade. So a polygon is just a closed figure. So there are many types of polygons. The first type of polygon would be triangle, so you can see that it's made up of sides. That's another quality of a polygon. It has to be made up of sides and it has to be closed figure. So none of these can remain open. This would not be a polygon. There are three-sided figures, there are four-sided figures, which are quadrilaterals, five-sided, which are pentagons, and then there are many-sided figures. There are regular and irregular polygons. But just so you know, a polygon is a closed figure with sides. So a circle would not be considered a polygon, even if it was closed, because it's not made up of sides. Okay, so in fourth grade, you talked a lot about angles. An angle is where two sides meet. So you can see I have a part of a triangle here right now, just a little part. That side meets up with this side, and that forms an angle. So there are many types of angles, but I want to review for you some of those really important angles. So an angle that forms a 90-degree turn, which if you use your arms, that would be, kind of straight up and down. It forms a kind of like a plus sign. If you think about that, this would come all the way out, this would come all the way out, and it's really kind of perfect. This forms four 90-degree angles if I had drawn it perfectly. Now I drew it freehand, so it probably isn't exactly perfect. But that would be, those are those 90-degree angles. And what I mean by 90 degrees is there is a tool called a protractor that you can use to measure an angle. So there's a couple different tools that we talk about measure. We talk about a ruler, but of course that is more for measuring the length of something. So we could measure like the length of this side right here, but it really doesn't help us for measuring the measure of that angle right in there. So a ruler would measure for sides, something called a protractor. Now a protractor would measure that angle. So if you can see this, what I did was I tried to draw a protractor because I did not have one. I left my protractor at school, of course. So I just kind of drew just a basic one. What you can see, probably, maybe you even have one of these at home, but you definitely have one at school. But it's just plastic usually, sometimes metal. And this part right here is usually kind of, it's not there, you could put your hand through it. And you would put your vertex, which would be the point of the two sides that meet. You would put your vertex there, and then this line across that bottom. And then you would see where this line kind of goes. And that's where you measure it. So you've got a 0 here, and then you can see 90 degrees. Remember that straight up and down line right here would be 90 degrees. And so anything that would be inside of the 0 to 90, think of numbers. They would measure anywhere between 0 and 90. This probably is about I'm just guessing, like a 60-degree angle or so, because if this would be 90, like this right here, you see the 90, that's 90, and that's 0, that's more than halfway between 0 and 90, so that's why I guessed 60 degrees. That would probably be about 60 degrees. So anyway, If you have a perfect angle, that's called a 90-degree angle. They call that a right angle, right. Anything that measures smaller than 90 degrees, such as this one right here, 90 degrees would be here, that's called a right angle. Anything that measures anywhere in between there, call it an acute angle, acute. And I always think of it this way, it's a cute little angle. Oh, it's so cute. It's a cute little angle. So this right here, this about 60 degree angle would be acute. So what if your angle actually comes out this direction? Look how big that is. This one was about right here, but now I extended that top side way out here. That's a really large angle. It went from a cute little angle to, ooh, that's a big one. So it went past 90 degrees and it went even farther. So we call that an obtuse angle, obtuse. So acute is a little angle, all the way past 90 degrees is obtuse. So as a review for those angles, smaller than 90 degrees, acute, 90 degrees, which would be this one right here, 90 degrees, that's a right angle, all the way past 90 degrees, obtuse. You're going to need those terms for later when we start to classify different angles. So I wanted to do just a little bit of a review of polygons and angles. All right. Part 2 coming up.